Today I am delighted to bring you Over the Pond soup. Now how that soup got its name is kind of interesting. One of my very favorite clients, Tim, deals with health issues and he also takes care of his chronically ill mother. So he has become quite masterful in the kitchen as a bachelor, figuring out how to eat healthy, and I want to share with you what he shared with me. He's been watching the cooking show and he said, here's what I do, so I would like to honor Tim today with our Over the Pond soup, since he lives in England. So he starts out with root vegetables. So he's had these roasted by himself, and you can use any combination. You could have butternut squash, which are in here, carrots, celery, onions, garlic, good things. That's part of the base. Then we're going to add an organic chicken broth. You could make your own chicken broth, and actually when you use the drip, let me show you this. When you peel carrots, when you peel other vegetables, if you keep the peelings and the leftover things and the edges of celery, etc., it becomes great for vegetable stock. So I do this, I put things in a baggie and put them in the bottom drawer of my refrigerator, and when I want more vegetable stock, I just boil it with some water for a while, and so it's easy to make your own. But if you want the quick way, you can just buy vegetable broth. So we're starting out with our root vegetables. We're going to add vegetable broth. We're also going to add tomatoes. You can have them fresh from the garden or skinned, of course, or from a can. And for most people, you would use frozen spinach. However, my garden right now is plentiful with kale and chard and greens. So I just went out to my garden and chopped up a bunch of dark green vegetables. So, and then he says we can add a lot of other things to it as well, but I will show you that next. So first of all, let's load up our Vitamix. So we've got our already cooked. You could probably use raw because Vitamix, of course, can chew up anything. You know, Vitamix is just a really strong version of a blender. It's like a commercial version blender that lasts forever. So our root vegetables, we're adding a whole container. That's 32 ounces of vegetable broth. Interesting sound it makes. Oh, we're gonna have a very big container of soup. And we have our tomatoes. And we have our greens. We have our frozen spinach or greens from the garden. Now, as Tim said, make sure the lid is on tight when you start your Vitamix. And the Vitamix, you know, has several speeds. I'm going to start it out real slow and gradually build it up. Okay, we blended it. Well, I don't know how you describe the color, but soon I'll describe the taste to you. You know, with Vitamix, they say you can make your own soup. So when you do this if you were to use the Vitamix for several minutes, the soup will get warm. It won't be hot like you've had on the oven, but it'll be warm. So this is almost room temperature. Oh my, it's surprisingly delicious, really delicious. It's an interesting melange of flavors that kind of wakes up my taste buds. So, and it's hearty. It's a really, really good, it's a whole meal right here in your Vitamix. Now, I want to add a few options because I think Tim, as a single guy in the kitchen, has figured out a lot of clever ways to make this a whole meal again. So I'm going to read to you what he adds. He says, fabulous. I love this as a base. Adding a little pepper, curry paste, rice, vegetable sausages or liver, probably liver sausage, roasted cauliflower, sweet potato chunks for variety and rotation. So you can add, you could add other pasta to it, like rice. You could add meats or meat substitutes or other proteins to it. And you've got a meal in not a box, a meal in a container here that's really very well balanced and very nutritious and simple. There's no work at the stove. You could go to the stove and heat it up if you wanted to, but it actually tastes quite nice like this. I would put it in a thermos actually and take it to work or have it as a snack. So thank you, Tim, for your over-the-pond soup. It's delicious. What I wanted to add here was Tim has an elderly mother, and so chewing is probably difficult for her. And this is true of a lot of older people. Choosing the right foods becomes a problem. So this is probably a really great way to get a lot of nutrition into his mother. And let's think about older people in our own families when chewing isn't so easy. If you've had dental work done, some of my friends have to go for several months while they're waiting for the new dental appliances to come in. So this is a really good way to get a lot of nutrition. Or if you have little babies or children that can't chew certain things, or if people have been sick, it feels really nourishing, and it's an interesting taste. It's not like boring stuff like some protein powders and substitutes. This actually has a really good flavor, so I think you will find lots and lots of uses for this. Bon appetit.